G'day everyone, this is another Footyology Match Dispatch talking about Collingwood and St Kilda this afternoon at the MCG. It was going to be a big test for the Saints. Unfortunately for them, not one they were able to pass because they came up against Collingwood at their best and the Pies marching away to a handsome 44-point victory. Let's have a quick look at the quarter-by-quarter scores. Set up in the opening turn by the Pies. Actually, St Kilda scored first, but Collingwood answered in very quick fashion indeed. 4 goals in 10 minutes and 5 on the board by quarter time. Another 5 in the second term, so with a commanding half-time lead. And the second half, a pretty tedious affair in all honesty. Only 3 goals kicked for the entire second half, but the damage had well and truly been done. Well, the Saints were impressive last week with some really positive running, quick football. But Collingwood's team defence today was outstanding. They applied constant pressure to the ball carrier. And unlike last week, they really had some more aggressive diagonal ball movement. And that was able to see them garner a lot of opportunities forward of centre, where they really dominated with uncontested possession. And were able to set up some relatively easy scoring chances inside 50. In fact, 6 marks inside 50 in that first half alone. 4 goals in 10 minutes for the Pies in that first term after the Saints had scored first. 2 to Jaden Stevenson, who looked really sharp in his return to the senior side. And Jamie Elliott also with a brace of goals for the Pies. So a handy lead at quarter time. St Kilda briefly looked like they were about to surge back into the contest. They got the first couple of goals of the second term. Max King took a mark and kicked one. And Dan Butler, who was a rare shining light for them today, his forward pressure very good, and he was able to get another on the board. That brought the margin back to only 8 points. But again, the Pies responded in devastating fashion with 4 goals on the trot, coupled to Brody Myercheck, who was always a good target today, 1 from Taylor Adams, and 1 from Tyler Brown. His first goal for the Pies stepped around an opponent and slotted one on the run. And he and Callum Brown really look like proving very valuable additions to this side, along with the likes of Josh Dacos. So the Saints by then in all sorts of trouble, 38 points down at half-time. Collingwood, like I said, had defended really well, used the ball more positively, and plenty of uncontested possession in all areas of the ground rather than creating a lot of it off half-back. Their forward setup was a lot more dynamic today, created a lot more space and certainly scored their goals, and a lot more of them, it's worth pointing out, a lot more easily than they had last week against Richmond. Who set it up for them? Well, Steele Sidebottom, fantastic performance from him, 31 disposals for Steele, 26 for Scott Pendlebury, the old firm really, but their defence was terrific. I thought Jack Crisp was great off halfback for them. Braden Maynard playing his 100th game, impressive also, and Jeremy Howe. This Collingwood defence is really underrated, I think. They play really well together as a unit, and when their defensive squad can apply that sort of around-the-ground pressure, it really makes their job a lot easier. And look, the Saints pressured into error. I think that's where they were found most wanting. Their skill level isn't quite up to the muster yet against that fiercest of opposition. We even saw the likes of Bradley Hill concede a goal from a kick-in error. There was another one with a handball from, I think it was Jack Billings, gave off a handball, allowed Jordan to go in for the easiest of goals. So Brett Ratton will certainly want the Saints to be brushing up on their touch with the footy under pressure. Couldn't really make any inroads on the margin after that, just 1 goal for them in the second half. And the Pies probably took the foot off the pedal a bit with the job done. They only scored twice, 2 majors in the second half themselves. But all in all, a really impressive performance from them. Certainly a leading premiership contender again. I think we all knew that anyway. But if there are any doubts that had crept in after last week's fairly mundane performance in that draw against Richmond, they were well and truly brushed aside. Should also mention Brodie Grundy in the ruck, terrific performance from him. And they had a real dominance at centre bounce clearances and several goals coming straight from the centre bounce. And Grundy, just a fantastic ruckman, and he taught Rowan Marshall a bit of a lesson today. So there you have it. We'll just have a look at the scores again. Final scores 12-9, 81 Collingwood, 44-point victors over the Saints, 5-7, 37. The details in terms of goal kickers, 2 each to Adams, Stevenson, Elliott and Myercheck. The only multiple for the Saints, Dan Butler. So a bit of thinking to do for St Kilda. Certainly not back to the drawing board, but certainly a good measuring stick in terms of how much work is left to be done for them. That's it for another Footyology Match Dispatch. We'll see you soon.